Hi, this is Sharon Massey, a Stampin' Up demonstrator at Stamp Side by Side. I just wanted to show you how to make this quick triangular fold card using the Serene Garden stamp set. This one I made as a birthday, and it just pops open like this, so that it reveals the sentiment on the inside. So I'm going to show you that, and at the end of the video then I'll show you another way of doing this, just slightly different, a wedding card. So let me get started with what you're going to need. You're going to need one piece of 8.5 by 11 card, and this is actually going to be for 2 card bases. So when I'm telling you how much of each thing you need, it's actually going to be for 2 cards, because once you make this cut, you're going to want to just go on and make a second card. So you're going to need one piece of that. You are going to need 4 pieces of Whisper White, cut it by 5 and 3 3/4. You're going to need a strip, and this will be optional, this green strip. You'll be, if you decide to use the green strip, you're going to want to cut it at 1/2 inch by 7 inches. That gives you way more than you need, but then that gives you plenty to play with. And then you're going to need a scrap of Whisper White. This measures probably about 4.5 by 2.5. And that's to stamp out some of the blossoms that you're going to color and then die cut. So we'll put this aside for now and pull in the Stampin' Trimmer, and I'll show you what you need to do with your cardstock. And let me get this where y'all can see it a little bit. I guess that's going to be about it. Okay, so I'm going to move this down. Hopefully you'll be able to see at least part of it, and it won't fall off the table. What you're going to do is you're going to take the 11-inch piece of paper, and you are going to put it in your trimmer and put it up against the stops at 5.5. So if you'll just line up at 5.5. And then when you score, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're directly in front of your score and you pull straight down. If you're left-handed or right-handed and you do it from an angle, you may get just off a little bit. So try to line it up, have it make sure that all of the edges are up against this stop, hold it, and then go straight down, and I like to go back up. So you've just scored this in half. Then you're going to flip it around and put the 8.5 edge up against the stops, but this time you're going to do it at 4 1/4. And again, you want to line it up as best you can with these lines. Pull mine in here a little bit. And then again, try to go straight down and then straight up. And then just slide that out. Now what you're going to want to do next is you're going to want to remove this cutter. The score. And the way you do that is you just slide it down, and there is right down here there's a larger aperture, and you just slide this so that it is in that aperture, and then you just take your nails and it just pops right out. And just set that aside for a minute. The reason you're going to have to do that is because we're going to be cutting this on the diagonal, which makes it longer than the 12 inches. So what you have to do is you have to slide this in and just get it directly into the cutting trough, which is where the blade will go when it's cutting. So this tip goes in here. Then hold that. Your thumb's going to be kind of serving as a pivot point, and then you're just going to move your other tip into the trough down at the other end, and then just making sure that you've got it. Sometimes I know for me it slides a little bit, so I need to adjust just a bit. And then once you get it, really put your hand down, hold it really well, and then just cut from tip to tip. So now what you've ended up with is you end up with 2 triangular pieces. These are going to be your 2 card bases. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to take this, and we are going to turn it and fold it on our score lines, and trying to make sure that we get up against this tip. And then do the same with the other side, scoring, because if this is off, so now you want to make sure this tip is up here, flush with this one, and then go and score that. So now you have this kind of card, like that. Then you're going to take your Whisper White, and you're going to stamp your Whisper White. Excuse me, I'm reaching for my stamp sets. you're going to stamp your Whisper White. And I use Serene Garden. This is a new one in the 2018-19 Stampin' Up! Catalog. I just love it. It just has so many possibilities. You know, wedding cards, birthday cards. I can see this being used in a Christmas card, the dove. So lots of possibilities with Serene Garden. Then for the sentiments, I went to an old standby that's still in the catalog, and it's called Beautiful You. And the sentiments I'm going to use Happy Birthday Gorgeous and Life Looks Beautiful on You. So those are the two stamp sets that I'm using. Now I went on and pre-stamped and colored these images. I used my Stampin' Blends. I'm not a good color. That is one of my biggest weaknesses, but I do like that I can at least get, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but I can at least get a little shading in there. It's not what an artist would do, but it suffices for the cards. So those are going to be the pieces, and then you're going to use your scrap to stamp out this blossom a couple of times. So you want to stamp that out twice. Be sure you use Memento ink if you are going to use your Stampin' Blends. You can color these however you want to. There are lots of options. You can use our watercolor pencils with blenders, or you can use your markers with blenders, your inks with blenders. You can use aqua pens. If you do that, I suggest you use watercolor paper. But anyway, so these were cut and stamped, colored. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this piece right here, and we are going to take it, and much like the other paper, we're going to be cutting at a diagonal. It's just a smaller one. So you take this tip, again, slide the other tip into where the very tip ends up in the cutting trough right here, and this one's just off a hair right there, and I think that's good. So now you just cut. And I think I wobbled it a little bit, so I may be off a little bit when we start putting this thing together. So I'm going to set this aside and bring over the card base. So the nice thing about the card base, you can decide how you want it to open. That may affect your cut, but this is what you get. But you could also do this. You can turn it around and get it opening the opposite direction. In other words, just fold these the other way. So there are lots of options. So what you do now is you just get your, I have trouble catching things. You just get your card that I'm sorry, I'm going to get it right here in a minute. The piece that you've stamped, and you're just going to put some snail on it. And then what you're going to do, and I have found for me, I do much better if I open this up and try to align it that way. I don't know why I have trouble the other way. I just do. So for me, this makes it a little easier to line up and put in there. And now I'm going to go around and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Again, if I can catch this paper. I hope all of you are having a wonderful day, and I hope it's cooler than it is in Texas right now. We are in a drought and heat wave. So if y'all are cool and rainy, count your blessings. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to try this again and see if I can get fairly close. No, that's not right. Maybe there. Sorry this is taking me so long. There we go. So now you've got that part of your card. At this point, you have a choice. You can leave it like this, and I think I will leave it this one, but you can also, as I did on the first one, you can take this green strip and glue it on one side so that it overlaps, so that you have the green in here if you would prefer to do that. I would have one suggestion when you do it. When you do it, lay this piece down, run the glue just halfway on here, and I would suggest you use a silicone mat under there if you do that. And then when you get it in there, you can snip it just on the ends so that when you close it, you've got that green edge. So, but I think just for time's sake, we'll just leave it this way. I think that's going to be fine. Now I have cut out 2 of these blossoms and die cut them. The dies that go with this set. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to take some dimensionals. And by the way, I did color these, as I said before, with blends, but I also painted on some Wink of Stella on them, so they have that little bit of extra shine. So what I'm going to do is get my glue dots, not my glue dots, I'm sorry, my dimensionals. and pop that on there. And I want to show you a little trick in a minute. So this dimensional goes right, we're just going to line it up right there on that. And now, let me make sure I've got that right. Yeah. Okay, that's great. Now notice that I've got it, the dimensional is just a little bit off, and I'll show you why I'm doing that in a minute. And now I'm going to do another one. I'll get this other blossom and pop a dimensional on it. And we will just kind of put this one maybe right there. Okay, so now this dimensional up here, if I'll close it properly, it is going to actually hold the card closed. And if it sticks too much, you can take your embossing buddy and just do like that to get some of the stickiness out. But this one's doing really nicely this way, and it keeps the card closed, and it allows your card to sit up. So we'll go on and put the base in, and we will be done. I think this would make, I think this is going to be my sister's birthday card. Hers is coming just right around the corner, and now I have a birthday card for her. So there you go. There is one of the cards. Wait a minute. And there you go. You might want to put another dimensional, a mini dimensional on this one to really hold it good. You could just slide it in there. But when you're doing that, remember to use your embossing buddy to just knock off some of the stickiness. You're just going to pick it up with that. And that'll make it where it'll open and not tear the paper. So there's that triangular fold card. Then I wanted to show you, this was the original one. And when I put all the, and I may go back and put a few pearls on here. In fact, I think I probably will. These are the artisan pearls. These are, but I ran at that time out of them. I since have some more. But you can color your own pearls. So let's just look at that for a minute. If you take some of your pearls, if I can catch them, bring them over here. One of the things to do is this is one of the old blends. You can do this, these were the old blendabilities. They've come out with an ink that blends better now in our new blends, but these I keep because you still can use them even though they don't blend real well. They're still great at coloring, and look at that color I get with that. Isn't that pretty? And the more you do it, the brighter it gets. And they're, you know, you can use a lighter color or just not do it quite as much, like that. And then you can drop those onto your card. So just a tip there, you know, keep those old pens because they are good for coloring those. So then we can take that and we can just drop a few of these into the card. And then I'll color some more later, but you get the idea. So there is the triangular fold Serene Garden card. I hope you enjoy it. I do want to show you the other one so you can see how to fold it differently. This is, this one, it folds, instead of folding out this way, it folds up this way. Now this one I'm turning into a wedding card. We have a wonderful young woman who grew up in our church who's a missionary, and she's getting married. And in fact, she's getting married this afternoon, and I'm going to go to her wedding, and this is going to be her wedding card. And this, the sentiments from this came from Floral Phrases, but you can see the difference in the two of these. This one opens up at the top, this one at the bottom, and then the third one is the one that has the green strip in the middle. I don't know if I can get them all in there. But here are just several ways of doing it. Looky there. Okay, so I hope you enjoy them. These are fun. They're a little bit special when you send them to somebody. So have a lovely day. Enjoy your crafting. If you don't have a demonstrator, I would love to be yours. You can go to my site, www.stampsidebyside.com, and go to my store there. If you would like to be one of my team, I'd love that. My team's growing, and that is so much fun, and you are welcome to join it. And then also I do stamping gloves in Fredericksburg, Texas. So if you're interested in joining one of the local stamping clubs in Fredericksburg, Texas, just leave me a note at my website. Love y'all. Have a great day. Bye.